Hello students, let's learn math subject standard 9, chapter number 10. Chapter name is circles. You have all observed in your daily life circles, right? Take the example of a coin. It is a circle. Clock is a circle. Wheel, any wheel, cycle tire or car tire, okay, or button, right? Bangles which your mama wears. All these are circles. Now, in mathematic terms, all points in a plane, this is one plane, in that there are many points which are at a fixed distance from a fixed point. Like from this point it is at 5 meters, from this point it is 5 meters, from this point it is 5 meters. Like that, when you join all these points, that plane becomes a circle. I have drawn this for you. See, from this point, this is at a fixed distance, same distance, this point, same distance. So when you join all these points, it becomes a circle. So we'll write the definition for that. It says that the collection of all the points in a plane which are at a fixed distance from a fixed point in the plane is called a circle. Now, this line segment which joins the center of any point on a circle to any point on this circle is called the radius. We will write down the definition for that. This is the radius of this circle. You can call the center as O and this point as P. So OP is the radius of this circle. We'll write the definition. The line segment joining the center and any point on the circle is also called the radius of the circle. Understood? Now, if you see the circle, there is one line which is passing through the center. You have named that as CD, and there is one segment PQ, right, joining 2 points on the circle. If you join this point P and point Q, this line segment is called the chord, and the chord which passes through the center of the circle is called the diameter of the circle. So we will write down the definition for that. The line which joins point P and Q on the circle is called the chord of the circle. The chord which passes through the center of the circle is called the diameter. Is called diameter of the circle, and this diameter is the longest chord. Now you can see this PQ curved line. So any line which is joining these 2 points P and Q, this curved line is joining P and Q, is called arc of the circle. You will write the definition for that. A piece of circle. This is a piece of that circle. This is the whole circle. This is a piece. Piece of circle between 2 points is called an arc. So this is called an arc, and it is denoted by write the name of that segment and write show an arc on top of it. Now let's learn about major segment and minor segment. Major segment, minor segment, major arc and minor arc. First of all, you see this region. See, this is that arc. Okay. Now this is the center of the circle. The region between an arc, this arc, and the two radius. This is one radius. See, I have drawn it over here. This is one radius, this is another radius, and the line which joins the 2 points on the radius is called the sector. Okay, we'll write the definition for that. The region between an arc, the region between an arc joining the center to the end points of an arc. These are the end points of the arc, is called a sector. You understood the definition of the sector? Okay. Now we will see that when these two arcs are equal of any circle, suppose if you take this arc PQ, right, it is equal, so this becomes the semicircular region, right? This is a circle and this is a semicircle, this portion. These two will be equal. Okay, now we will define a major sector. What is a major sector? The minor arc corresponds to minor sector, and this major arc corresponds to the major sector. Okay, now we will define this major segment, minor segment. First we will see what is a segment. The region between a chord, this is a chord, and either of its arc. this region. Okay, this is called the segment. Let's write down the definition of the segment. It says that the region between a chord, this is a chord, and either of its arc, this is that arc, is called a segment of the circle. Now you can see this circle in which we have drawn one. What is this PQ? It is a chord, and this is point R on the circle, but which is not on PQ. Now if we join PR and QR, then we will get an angle PRQ. Yes, this angle subtends the line segment PQ at point R. Okay, that means we make an angle PRQ. So it is called angle subtended by this chord PQ at any point. Okay, this is the angle subtended by chord PQ at point R. Angle subtended by a chord at a point. So here we have seen that angle PRQ is called the angle subtended by the line segment PQ at point R. Now let's see one theorem 10.2. It says that if angles subtended by chords of a circle at the center are equal, if this angle is equal to this angle, then we have to prove that the chords are equal. So we will write it down. If the angles subtended by the chords of a circle at the center are equal, then the chords are equal. How will we prove this? What information is given? Angle AOB, this angle is equal to DOC. This angle is equal to angle DOC, and we have to prove that AB is equal to DC. Here we will write down to prove AB is equal to CD. Now if we take these two triangles, we can say that AO and CO are same. Why? Because they are the radius of the same circle. We'll write it down, AO equal to CO. Why? Because radii of same circle. Now angle AOB is equal to DOC. This is given. Here we have written it. This is given. And OB is equal to OC. Same reason. OC equal to OB. Same reason. Hence we can say that triangle AOB is congruent to triangle COD by which rule? SAS, side angle side congruency rule. Thus we can say that AB is equal to CD because CP CT, corresponding parts of congruent triangles. Now let's see theorem 10.3. 10.3 theorem, it says that this perpendicular from the center of the circle, this is the center of the circle, and if we draw perpendicular to a chord bisects the chord, that means AM equal to MB. You have to show this. We'll write it down. The perpendicular from the center of a circle to a chord bisects the chord. So whatever we have to prove, we'll write it down. Prove that AM equal to BM. Now we have to do some construction. We'll write it down. Construction. Join AB and AO, it is, sorry. See, AO and BO. We have to join it. So we'll get two triangles OAM and OBM. In that we will prove that AM equal to BM. Whatever information is given, we'll write it down. OA equal to BO because they are radii of same circle, and OM equal to OM, it is common for both the triangles. And angle OMA equal to angle OMB because each is 90 degrees. Thus we have proved that triangle AOM is congruent to triangle BOM by RHS, and we can say that AM equal to BM, CP CT, congruent parts of congruent triangles, corresponding parts of congruent triangles. So we have proved that the perpendicular from the center of a circle to a chord bisects the chord. That is theorem 10.3 we have proved. Now let's see theorem 10.5. Theorem 10.5 says that there is one and only one circle passing through three given non-collinear points. What are non-collinear? Which are not in a straight line. Let's write it down. There is one and only one circle passing through three given non-collinear points. Let us take any 3 points. You take this 1 point, this second, and this third. Okay, you can name them A, B, C, which should be non-collinear, but that means they should not lie in a same straight line. After this, what we will do, we will join AB and we will join BC. We will write down the steps what we are doing. Let us take 3 non-collinear points. Second step is join AB and BC. Now what is the third step? We have to draw perpendicular bisectors of AB and BC. So how will we draw? We will take point A as center and more than half distance of AB will mark an arc on the top and bottom of that line AB with same radius, and center as B will cut that arc. Similar fashion, we will take center as B, more than half radius, draw arcs on the top and bottom. Now join the points of intersection of the arcs at the top and bottom of the line, like this. So now you will get the intersection of this line and this line. Name that point as O. Now from O as center, radius equal to this point, join all the points and you will notice that they lie on a circle. So you can say that there is only one and only one circle passing through 3 non-collinear points. Thus we have proved that. Now we will write the steps for the same. We didn't name the lines, we will name them as A, B and C. Now we will write down the proof of that. This distance OA is equal to OB. Name this is equation 1, and distance OB is equal to OC. Name this is equation 2. We will write down the reason for this, because point on perpendicular bisector of a line segment is equidistant from the endpoints of the given line segment. So from equation 1 and 2 we get OA equal to OB equal to OC. Let OA equal to OB equal to OC equal to R. Taking O as center, R as radius, draw a circle. It is possible to draw one circle. As we had seen, it was possible to draw one circle. We can write the reason. Since two non-parallel lines intersect at one point, and only one point. They can't intersect at 2 points. O is the only center of the circle. Now C, you can write down, thus we have seen that one and only one circle passes through point A, B and C. Now let's solve exercise 10.3. We will solve the third sum. It says that if two circles intersect at 2 points, prove that their centers lie on the perpendicular bisector of the common chord. Now there are two circles and we have to prove that their centers lie on the same perpendicular bisector of the common chord. There is a common chord between them, right? So first of all, we will draw the figure and then start solving. What information is given, we will write it down. There is a circle, let's call that C, which has a center point P and of radius R, and there is another circle which has center Q and radius R dash. Let them intersect at points A and B. First we will draw that. Now we have drawn two circles with center P and center Q with radius R and radius R dash. They meet at one common chord. Let us name that as AB, and let us join the centers of both the circles, and they meet the chord AB at point M. We have to prove that points P and Q lie on the perpendicular bisector of common chord A, B. Therefore, you can write that this PM is perpendicular to AB. We will write the reason, because the line drawn through the center of a circle to bisect a chord is perpendicular to the chord. Hence, we can say that angle PMA equal to 90 degrees. Similarly, we can say that AB is chord of circle with center Q and radius R dash. AB is chord of circle with center Q and radius R dash, and this QM or MQ is the bisector of this chord AB. So QM will also be perpendicular to AB, and QM is bisector of chord AB. Therefore, you can say that QM is perpendicular to AB. The reason is the same as above. You can write it same as above. Hence, we can say that angle QMA equal to 90 degrees. Now, angle PMA plus angle QMA. When you add these two angles, what we will get? We will get PMA was 90 degrees and QMA is also 90 degrees. So when we add, the total is 180 degrees. Now since angle PMA and angle QMA are forming linear pair, so we can say that PMQ is a straight line. Right? This one. PMQ is a straight line. When we can say this, when angle PMA and angle QMA both are adding up to 180 degrees. So this forms a linear pair. You know, any straight line and a common arc which is joining that, when you total, the sum comes to 180. So you can say that PMQ is a straight line. Hence you can say that P and Q lie on the perpendicular bisector of chord AB. Hence we can say that points P and Q lies on the perpendicular bisector of common chord AB.